Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review for Insecure Season 5, Episode 8, Issa. Okay, we got 2 more episodes. Okay, and I'm completely lost. This episode threw me for a loop. I was confusion. I had questions in between my notes. Honey, I didn't know what was going on, honey. It was like I was taking shrooms. I was so confused throughout the entire episode. Not to mention you back over there with Nathan. Oh, child. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you are back for a second or third time, then don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you came back. Because, I mean, don't be doing me like Issa do Lawrence. I mean, if you're going to come back over here, then let's get back together. Hit that subscribe button. Now, child, let's get into it if we gonna get into it. When the episode first opens up, Issa and Nathan laying in the bed and whatnot. Child. So they laying there with this awkwardness. And he's like, what you thinking about? Lawrence. Lawrence for 200 Alex. Boy. So she's like, I'm just thinking about squirrels and, thinking about Tiffany. And I can't believe she's actually moving away. Girl, you're thinking about Lawrence. Honey, he just called you. So he said, well, I guess that means that we'll have someone to visit. She was like, oh, okay, so you gonna come to Denver with me? He was like, no. Ugh. Child is just flat, okay? Remember that date that Issa and Lawrence went on when they first started to rekindle things and they were making jokes back and forth? That's the zhuzh that should be given, Nathan. Moving forward. But it's okay. I guess he's trying to support Issa. As long as she ain't crying into his mouth, I guess he ain't gonna run away and whatnot. So we'll see how this goes. So they get up and start moving around the apartment, right? Brushing their teeth and stuff. And they're standing in the restroom and they're talking. So then Nathan starts talking about all the stuff that Issa has been stashing at her apartment. She's like, yep, it looks like mi casa is starting to look like we casa. No, ma'am. Honey, you better not move in together. Absolutely no, ma'am. I don't care if you say it in English, Espanol. I don't care what language you say it in. No. Okay? Ain't no we casa. Girl. Oh, Lord. Then he starts doing the I'm just going to move in talk. He's like, well, I like waking up to you and, making you coffee. We'll make Folgers at your place. Okay? And she can stop at Starbucks. There's one on every corner in LA. She'll be fine. Boy, goodbye. He's like, your sheets are nicer than mine. You probably don't even have sheets, Nathan. He looked like he sleep on bare mattress. Child, I cannot be bothered. He was like, should we move in? Nope. No way. No way, Jose. Since you like to put in the mi casa es su casa type thing. Honey, since you wanted an Espanol. No way, Jose. He's like, we could save some money. You could also save some money by switching your car insurance to Geico. But you need to go on out and usher Lawrence on in. Boy, goodbye. Moving forward. She's like, well, okay, let's think about it then. No, Issa, you did a lot of thinking this episode and nothing got accomplished. Girl, are you new? You only have 2 episodes left. Oh, child. In the next scene, Issa and I can't remember his name, but like the rep from NBW, they're walking through one of her events. And then the weird lady from the book signing, child, she's back. So she's telling Issa, she's like, you did the dang thing. You did that yet again. She's like, I'm so glad I stopped here on the way to that bridge. Okay. I don't want to laugh. What is wrong? Ma'am. And then she always just stands there and stares at Issa. Baby, it's a fool. Why does this lady keep talking about unaliving herself every time she sees Issa? So then Issa turns and walks politely away. I'm like, girl, what? See, that wouldn't have sat well with me. Honey, I would have been thinking about that all day long. I would have to sit and talk to her and see how life is going and what ways can I help you. See, y'all can't be walking up to me saying those kinds of things, honey, because I'm not going to be able to walk away because I don't want you to unalive yourself. And then you told me and then I know and then I see you on the news and now I'm sitting there and I can't eat, I can't sleep because you gone. Oh, child, it's a mess. Moving forward. Issa rolls up on Nathan and his cousin. Y'all at the event too? Child, don't you got some heads to cut? You ain't got no clientele in the barber shop, boy. So she's like, oh, thank y'all for coming. Oh, let me get a picture. Y'all make it look natural. So here these 2 go. They posing like they on the courtyard. I'm like, what is happening? Y'all know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of that episode of Martin where they were doing something they weren't supposed to do and then they had a knock at the door and Martin was like, act like you're chilling. I said, act like you're chilling. And child, they were doing the most unchilling like poses I had ever seen. Child, I will never forget that episode. That episode was everything to me. But all episodes of Martin are everything to me. Moving forward. He's like, well, I'm about to go to the shop. I have a men's meeting. She's like, oh, look at us. We a power couple. No, ma'am, honey. Y'all ain't no B&J. You definitely ain't no B&J, child. He's like, all right, I love you. She's like, I love you too. It's giving nothing. Okay, it's not giving what's supposed to be gave, honey. It sounds so unnatural. This is like, who done it and why? So then Molly and Kelly, they roll up, hey y'all, and they're making fun of their love and whatnot, honey. We all are. The only thing I like about Nathan is the fact that he's from Houston. H-Town all day. So Molly over there smiling at the phone, right? Child, I've been there. When it's new, you be smiling at everything they seeing. Child, you see that little bubble moving. You like, oh my God, what are you about to say now? Looking all goofy, grinning at that phone 24/7. So she on the phone trying to set up her second date with Torrin. And at first, I was like, yeah, I don't think you should, where you work, okay? But at the same time, because, office romances are never a good idea. I'm a person that has personal experience in that. But as the episode progressed, and it progressed rather fast, I feel like Torrin might be her person. So we're going to continue to get into it as we get into it. So she's on the phone trying to set up a second date, and Molly is talking to them about the estate planning and how her parents aren't taking it seriously. So then her and Sequoia, they're walking to the car, right? And Crenshaw is waiting. What do you want, Crenshaw? Looking good. Oh, child. So her assistant said, look, I usually don't fight my brothers, but I will if necessary. I know that's right, child. Look, when I get me an assistant, if they don't ride with me like that, I don't want them. Honey, you're fired, effective immediately. So he's like, nah, I don't want nothing. I just came to give props and make peace. She said, yeah, and I keep a piece on me. Girl, you better tell him. So then he gets to talking about how he made a mistake treating her like he did, but he's about to open a store and he wants to team up. Crenshaw, okay, as fine as you are, I would have to go with a hell now. Okay, you are too unpredictable. You always acting a fool. Don't forget how you treated Issa, honey. You got to be careful with who you attach your name to. I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. Because, why all of a sudden now? Because you seeing she making big moves? Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. Shout out to Mike Jones. What is it that you need? No, I wouldn't be able to do it. She's like, oh, okay, so now you want to work with me. He's like, yeah, just think about it. Nah, we good, bruh. Not thinking about it. Moving forward. So then Issa was like, they always come crawling back. And does. She was like, I can't believe him. Here go her assistant with that sexy apology. The apology was given, honey, but he can't be trusted, so it's a no for me. Moving forward. Issa returns to the mirror. That's my favorite part, honey. She had a Coogee sweater on. I stayed Coogee down to the socks. Rings and watch filled with rocks. Shout out to Notorious B.I.G. I know that's right, honey. Got your Coogee sweater on. So she's standing in the mirror, and she gets an email about a collaboration from NBW. And apparently it's Rex on Rex. Shout out to Tiger. So she's reading it, and she's like, yeah. So she's talking to herself in the mirror. Y'all know how she likes to do. But then they fast forward to her meeting them at the space. So she enters the space like a boss. Yes, Issa, honey, that ponytail is giving what needs to be gave. So then we fast forward to an interview that she's giving, and she's like, I've really been, doing this for the past 2 years. I'm like, it's 2 years later? What is happening? I was so confused. I'm like, okay, please tell me this is not 2 years later. In the next scene, Issa is taking a first class flight, fresh blowout, skin glowing, looking like a bag of money. Shout out to Rick Ross. On the flight back to LA, she turns and looks, and it's Ty Dolla $ign. What's up, Ty? So he tells her that he has to get back to the studio because he's working with this new artist, Crenshaw. And he said, yeah, he's kind of a big deal in LA. He's like a hood hero. So Issa is sitting there like, oh, that's really good for Crenshaw, because she's thinking about the fact that she didn't take the opportunity to work with him again, right? When she gets off the plane, she gets to this beautiful LA pad, and Nathan is there waiting. I'm like, he's still there. And I was just sitting here thinking, like, what is happening? Did you call Lawrence back? Whose house is this? Where are the girls? Is Tiffany, is she gone? Did she move yet? Like, how old is the baby? Like, I was just like asking so many questions. And he's like, so how was Miami? She said, oh, they loved me. He was like, not as much as I love you. Ugh, okay. This is really happening. They are really together. Issa, side note, girl, I love the hair and the color and that dress. Girl, get into it. Yes, ma'am. Honey, I wish I could wear a backless dress that I didn't have to put a bra on, put my boobies, or giving what needs to be gave, so I'm not able to do that without a little help of some tape, okay? Or a bra or something to push these bad boys up. Moving forward. So they start kissing, and she was like, when did we move here? He said, last year. You know, you wanted to be closer to the office. So we moved to West Hollywood. So I'm all into the glow up and whatnot, but then we wind back up in the mirror. Issa, quit playing, girl. I was so confused. I really thought that we had fast forwarded 2 years, because y'all know how it was, honey, when she left Lawrence, and then all of a sudden it was like a few years later, and I'm like, what is happening? So, child, you just can never be too sure. Oh, child, this was trippy. Okay, this whole episode was trippy. Moving forward. In the next scene, Molly is at her parents' house. Mom is doing great, and they're working on the estate planning with them. It's her and Kelly, right? And you wouldn't even know Molly's mom had a stroke. And I just realized as I was watching that her mom is Olivia from Our Kind of People. Olivia, they gonna lock you up for killing that man. They gonna lock you up. Girl, don't think I forgot. So they get to talking about how to split the assets and who gets what. Her dad is like, just split it. Okay, I'm gonna be dead. I don't care nothing about it. Just split it. So Kelly is there behaving like a responsible adult, and she tells them that they're gonna need an accurate dollar amount. And I feel like this is a hard conversation to have, but it's so necessary. The younger brother is freaking out, child. He's trying to find any excuse to leave the room. He's like, y'all want some tea? Let me go make y'all some tea. He comes back out. I'm going to make y'all some tea. But there really wasn't any tea. I thought there was. I'm going to go to the store for some tea. Boy, what is my... It's okay. I know it's hard, but it is okay. Oh, child, thank God for Molly, because everybody falling apart. So her dad said, look, okay, so we had to borrow from the 401k for your mom's medical expenses. So Molly's brother is like, okay, so what if mom has another stroke? Baby daddy was not here for that conversation. He was like, I don't want to talk about this right now. Dad, we have to talk about it. Okay, I know, we have to talk about it. So her dad said, I feel like I worked 50 years and I got nothing to show for it. This is all too real. Okay, this is America. You work all your life, and in the end, what do you really have to show for it? Like, Molly is like, it's okay, you gave us love. So Kelly said, well, it's never too late to start saving for those grandkids. Kelly. Kelly, be quiet. Oh, child. She was like, let's call the bank. They love getting calls. They're always like, hello. Her mom was like, yeah, they do be doing it. They be so eager to answer the phone. What bank is that? Okay. Takes me forever to get past all those automated messages. I'm like, customer service. Representative. Child, I don't never want to answer down at the Chase, honey. I guess this is another bank. Moving forward. I could tell her dad was really affected by this conversation, and it really got me to start thinking about my parents and how I'm going to have to start having the tough conversations with them, because I'm not a spring chicken anymore, and that means that they're not spring chickens anymore, and they're getting older, and I'm in denial, so somebody going to have to talk sometime. In the next scene, Issa is meeting with Crenshaw to tell him working together is not the move. So he respectfully disagrees. He's telling her about the space and how he's putting together this after school program. Crenshaw, no. So he's trying hard to convince her, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna think about it. So then she meets with Crenshaw, and she decided to go with it. So they walk in and they teleport, and it's 2 years later. I'm like, okay, here we go again. So then we see them going to another part of town to get this second location. They're walking around, making moves, moving and shaking. So they decide to open it. So Issa is walking down the street. Here comes Ty Dolla $ign again. Ty, what is wrong with you? You are everywhere. So she sees a bus drive by, and there's a picture of Ty Dolla $ign on the side of it, and he's holding Blackwater. So she's at war with herself over which choice she should make. Should she go with NBW? Or should she go with Crenshaw? And quite frankly, I think you need to bet on Issa. That's what I think. In the next scene, Child Tyra done showed up, honey, for a cameo as the mayor with a bad wig on to present Issa with a key to the city. And August 12th is Issa Wood Day. So in this scenario, she shows back up to her modest apartment. Now, mind you, when she went with NBW, she showed up in that LA West Hollywood luxury apartment. With Crenshaw, she shows up back to her modest apartment. Nathan's still in the picture. Oh, child, we can't get rid of him. Hair still fabulous. But why she had to have straight hair for the other scenario, though? What is happening? Let's keep all natural, no matter what. So this time she was like, why didn't we move to a bigger place? He said, we grinding, we had to make some sacrifices. And yeah, by the way, Trina called and said that her toilet was stopped up. And so clearly she's still the building manager. Okay. So she goes in to get a plunger, turns around, and there's Lawrence. Hey, Lawrence, come on in. Nathan's gone. Girl, what is happening? Not Lawrence back in the place to be. In the next scene, Kelly is finally leaving Molly's parents' house, and they got all of the things done that they needed to do for the estate planning. So Molly gets in her car and she just breaks down. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so relatable. It's hard seeing your parents get older and realizing life has come full circle and now you have to take care of them. Like, I don't think I'm ready. I'm the oldest and I'm the most responsible, so I know it's going to be all on me, but I don't take stress very well. And my sister and my brothers, they get on my nervous system. Plus, my mom is very private. Child's going to be like pulling teeth trying to get her financial information. My dad never says a word. Child, this is just going to be a fool. Ooh, this scene had me like, oh my God, I know, Molly, I know. So right as she's breaking down, Torrin calls about dinner. He's like, yes, do you want to do white wine, red wine? Like, what's going on? So he's asking her about her wine choices, and she's like, you know what, I had a really hard day with my parents, so I don't think I'll be much fun. I'm gonna have to take a rain check. And he was very understanding of that. He's like, okay, well, I'm here if you want to talk. Moving forward, back at the mirror, the other Issa trying to figure out why Issa is so stressed. She was like, why was Lawrence there? Like, I'm not thinking about him. Is that right? Girl, please. We thinking about him, so I know you thinking about him because you wrote it. Moving forward. She's like, did you call him? He did call you and you called him back. She was like, remember when we threw Casper's baby in the trash? That was a good look. It really was. It really was. She said, maybe there's a little voice saying things aren't done yet. And ain't. Okay? And ain't. She was like, you're the little voice. You're saying it's not done yet. And we are as well, honey. In the next scene, Issa calls Molly to see how her day went. And so she tells her that they got the wheel done finally and everything's, happening. So then Issa tells her that she doesn't know what to do. She's like, if I go with NBW, will I be a sellout? Or should I take a big risk and go with Crenshaw? So Molly gave her some great advice. She said, there's never a wrong answer. Either way will be great or not, or somewhere in the middle. Either choice you make, you're going to have pros and cons, Issa. That's just how it goes. It's all about the risk versus the reward. And honestly, I wouldn't know what to choose. Well, I would know what to choose because I would not go with Crenshaw just off the fact that he's too unpredictable. And given our past history, I just wouldn't trust him in business. But that's just me. So she's like, well, you already know what you got to do, so just do that shit. I know that's right, girl. They have really been there for each other this season. Ugh, I'm so sad. I'm sad because the season ain't giving what's supposed to be gave. I'm sad because all these loose ends. I'm sad because maybe Lawrence and Issa won't end up together. But child, is probably for the best because we got Compact in the picture. And I'm sad because the parents are getting older. Child, is just sadness all up and through, child. So once they get off the phone, it's a knock at Molly's door and it's a special delivery. And she gets a text from Torrin saying, wings and wine make everything better. Oh my gosh. See, I want that kind of relationship. And man that's listening to this review, when you send the wings, extra ranch and celery, please. Thank you very much. That was so thoughtful. Okay, at first I was a little bit skeptical about Torrin, but I don't know, he growing on me. More than Nathan, because child, he growing on me like a fungus. Do y'all hear me? Moving forward. Over at the crib, Issa and Nathan are having takeout, right? So he's like, let me go wash my hands. So she's like, oh, I'm so happy. He said, that's what I want. She said, what? He said, for you to be happy. But the voice from the bedroom sounds like Lawrence. Girl, if you don't get some closure, girl, at least go over there and see what he wanted, or at least call him back. She is still thinking about Lawrence, and I'm still thinking about Lawrence and her being together. Oh, child, we only got 2 more episodes left. My nervous system is getting bad. Issa, it is 2 episodes left. Piss or get off the pot. Girl, what you gonna do? Well, what you gonna do? What we gonna do? Shout out to Total. And that was the end of the episode. It's almost over, y'all. 2 more episodes. Comment down below and tell me exactly what you thought about this episode. I feel like this season they're phoning it in. I don't know. I just don't know. Y'all tell me how y'all feel. Don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.